Up, everybody? This is the first episode of Ape of the Week, where we look at a Bored Ape Yacht Club member in the community and try to highlight some of what they're doing, what they're involved with, their background, and just get a better view at what they're up to. This week's guest is Josh Ong. It was a really fun time getting to know Josh a lot better. He's involved with a ton of stuff. So I hope you enjoy the video and let me know what you guys think. Thanks. What's up, everybody? Hunter here, and today we are joined with Josh Ong, who is a Bored Ape. Actually, he's Bored Ape 1037, if you're interested exactly which ape he owns. Josh has been around the community for quite a while. He started back when CryptoKitties were a thing. He's been pretty active. His background is in marketing and communications, and he's a very, very active member of crypto community, NFT Twitter. And yeah, we're excited to have you here today, Josh.
Thanks for having me. It's fun.
Yeah. So the first thing we got to jump into is definitely Bored Apes, because you're very active in the community. You recently just got a grant for $1,000 to do in-person meetups, and you're also pretty involved with I guess a lot of the other things that are happening in the community. If you want to explain those.
Great. Yeah, it's been a busy week and a ton of fun. It feels like things are getting faster and faster. So really honored that BAYC trusted me with being part of building the real life community. So looking forward to that. We're planning some meetups this summer, maybe Southern California, LA in July, and then something in New York in August, and then we'll go from there. And I think the fun thing is, like, let's decentralize it too. It's obviously not around me and my travel schedule. It's really going to be around apes meeting other apes where they're at.
Right.
They're all over the world, which is really fun. So I heard from a group in Toronto that's like, hey, we want to organize something, and it's like, I'm going to support that. So
right.
I think, like, we did this mini meetup in New York with like 6 or 8 of us. And like 2 people hit it off and like started a partnership. Now they're working together on some NFTs and things like that. So
yeah, that's the great thing about like these communities that are forming, especially the Bored Ape community. Like, there's lots of friendships and businesses that are popping up that never would have started without this project.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote my thing. I think really creative things happen when Bored Apes get together in real life, online, in the metaverse. So that's one step. Today I was really excited to announce that I'm gonna work with Sandbox as an ambassador for their they have a whole program, and I had suggested to them, well, they reached out and I told them, like, look, I'm engaging with a lot of the Bored Apes around the land that we're all getting in Euphoria and around the yacht club. So I would love to help with that. And so we found a way to make it work. So that's kind of a fun addition too, is like, we'll do real life meetups. We're going to hang out in the metaverse together, hang out in Sandbox, and build some stuff. So those are a couple of the big things I'm working on. We just finished a tournament with Bored Ape Yacht Club, which was another fun little project.
It was Zed Run, right?
Yeah, so it's like Zed Run plus Bored Apes. So we did it where if you wanted to enter the tournament, you had to have a Bored Ape, and then you obviously had to have a horse.
Right.
And so a bunch of some of the big stables have horses, and then lots of regular folks who are like, I just want to put my horse in and see how I do.
Right.
So yeah, it was fun.
Right. It's just that community building thing. I think there's even like a poker tournament that's being run like on Monday or Sunday of this week.
Yeah, that was fun
for Ape members. It's just everywhere I look, I'm seeing new projects pop up and come. And I mean, even yesterday we had the airdrop of the hoodies, like, and people got together in what was it, Decentraland?
Yeah.
And I think, like, didn't you take a group photo yesterday?
Yeah, we took group photos. So BAYC tweeted out, like, hey, we just airdropped you all a hoodie. And I went into the I like loaded up where I was last to Decentraland, and it was right in front of Kevin Woozy's space yacht exhibit.
Oh yeah.
Space yachts for and sold them on OpenSea. And so I was there, and I was like, I'm gonna tweet these coordinates out. I just wanted to test what the hoodie looked like, and I was taking pictures. And then like other people started showing up, So we probably had like 15 or 20 at one point,
Oh
just
wow.
like jumping and like doing emotes, and everybody put their hoodies on. And a couple people came to watch who didn't have hoodies, so they must have just found out and were curious.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of I think some people were saying like, yeah, this I'm starting to get it, like the whole metaverse thing, or like why this is fun. Like everyone
Right.
just, gathering like you would in real life,
Right.
having a just monkeying around, as they say.
And monkeying around, exactly. And especially as you
Yeah,
start to see like galleries having like exhibits, and then instead of like all just being like a Zoom call, now you're like looking at each other, and as VR becomes a thing, it's only going to get better from here on out.
for sure.
And it's exciting to kind of be at the forefront of it right now. Speaking of forefront, I guess the other topic we can talk about is House Akiba,
Oh,
which
cool.
I believe you're an owner, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of been another membership organization that has recently happened. Uh, that's gotten a lot of attention. It's a very unique take on like a membership and community. And for those who aren't aware, there was initially 10,000 of these memberships, available for $500, I believe, and only like 900 or so were claimed. And then they burned the rest. They just, there's only going to be those 900 ever. And then we saw secondary prices, shoot up. People really wanted them, but it's a unique take on a membership where if you are a member, you get free airdrops, metaverse related for life. Correct?
Yeah. So I think it's something like a monthly rhythm for some of the airdrops they're doing there. It's almost kind of like a studio that's going to be creating assets. I know they're looking into like they were designing like a football player and like vehicles, like the warthog, or like something like that, or
Right.
um like Jeeps and things. And so they're just, and then they're looking into like what are the projects that our members are excited about. Like they had teased something maybe with like maybe they'll look into Zed or something like that. I think they're looking into other metaverse platforms. So I think the one that got the most attention that maybe started to help drive the prices up was they worked with a 3D modeler to basically model the Bored Ape. They made a model of a Bored Ape, kind of like generic, and then they model all the accessories so that I think if you just tell them what ape you are, they can swap in all the traits
That's so
and
cool.
make your 3D model ape that you can then use, rigged in the metaverse.
Right.
So every member gets 2 cards that they can redeem for an ape. So if you have 2 apes, you can do, 2 of yours, or they're like, look, you can sell one to another ape because there's not enough cards out for everyone. So they've been really, really generous. I know that I think they were live for like a couple of weeks, and people were debating like the pros and cons. And I think with that type of lifetime membership, it's a challenge to say, how much am I going to get out of it? Like, how long are they going to last?
Right.
Right. I'm not necessarily expecting like NFTs when I'm like 90 years old,
Right.
but
I mean, so what
um,
made you make that leap of faith, I guess, to purchase?
yeah, I mean, so Grant and Kiba, I think I've seen on Twitter just like being part of the community. And so honestly, I think a big part of it was like, I want to support a fellow ape who's doing something really cool. I think originally they were like, if we sell out, before the burn date, like they were going to like give away their whole Top Shot account, which had some pretty good stuff in it. But that didn't come to pass. Um, and then when I found out about the Bored Ape model, I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely something I want. And you know, I I think when people were asking me like, what do you think about this? And I was like, this isn't necessarily like, it wasn't an investment for me. It was part of being a collector and like recognizing, hey, if they drop, every month they drop something cool and it lasts at least a few years, like that to me felt like it would be worthwhile.
Right.
So that was kind of my horizon, is like, as long as the space is active and they can kind of set themselves up to be sustainable, then I felt like I'd get something out of a few different drops. The way it looks right now, I think that they will basically break even on their value in their first drop. That's what I'm seeing. And obviously people who bought a multiple right now, the floor is at like 2 or 2.5 ETH or something. So
Right.
so
It's around
people are
two.
doing fine. either way. But they've got some really cool stuff that they've teased in the Discord, and it's a great community. It's a challenge. Like I certainly wish that they'd been able to sell more earlier on, because it's, sometimes these communities benefit from being a little bigger and
Right.
helping them out. But it's not too late to get in. You just got to find someone who's got an extra one, or someone who's looking to get out.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. That's so cool. So I guess, is there anything else that you've bought recently, or you're interested in, that we haven't talked about so far, or that you're like, hey, why is nobody talking about this?
um, I mean, people are talking about all sorts of stuff. I mean, I think,
Oh, pickles
um,
mostly, right?
yeah, a lot of pickle talk today. So it the word's traveling so fast. I think, like, so it's amazing. Like, it's funny, sometimes you see a project, you join the Discord, and then you can watch all your friends like join after. You see like the apes
Right.
come in.
Right.
So one example that was ether sparks this week. So there's like these like little ether looking nerdy little creatures, and people started buying them up like in the first 1 or 200, and there were like 10 people in the Discord, and then a bunch of apes got in. Ben and sure, yeah, um, Ben and tweeted about it, and East Coast Stables, I think. There's too many East Coast. It's either East Coast Stables or East Coast Top Shot. So I think that's how I heard about it, and I got one. And then they were like, at some point, they're like 100 apes, and they're just like asking for like, we want information. Like, what's your bonding curve? Like, give us, you need to like make this project. So there was a bunch of feedback, and I think that's fun. Like, I think we need to, as a community, work with the project creators to help make sure that it's like a healthy dynamic.
Right.
And I think they had kind of under communicated how they're going to do things, and there was some resistance to their roadmap. And as long as people are being respectful and healthy, like, I think it's good to kind of support things, and then also call to account, because we saw, there were some issues with the Yeti art, things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how the aliens will look when they're revealed. I'm not expecting like high fidelity,
Right.
3D alien, but hopefully the like attributes work out. It's like, very clear kind of what's what, and has a good style to it,
Right.
and lives up to the teasers. What else did I buy recently? I mean, I know it's being talked about. I'm excited about Punk's comic. I think it was slept on.
How many did you
um
buy?
9.
9.
So yeah, it's more than I usually get. I usually just do like 1 or 2 in projects that I like, and just kind of like get a bunch of stuff.
Right.
So that's why I can feel like I'm in a lot of different things. If you see me tweeting, it's like, because I'm just dipping my toes. When I bought an ape the first night, I only bought one. And it's the one that I've had, and I never actually bought more, which was my own mistake, right?
Right.
But yeah, so this one I went in more because I wanted to be part of the DAO, the whole founder vault, and then I wanted to stake some, and felt like it'd be a good collectible. And it was just kind of a part. It felt a little bit like executive producing something, where you kind of back something you believe in, you put a little
Right.
bit of funds behind it, and
Right.
then you have a tiny little say in kind of that future of that project. And if
Exactly.
you believe
Yeah.
in the team, yeah.
Get skin in the game. Did you mint the first night that it dropped?
Bored Ape or Punk's comic?
Punk's comic.
No, I was probably a couple days in. So people were talking about it, and I haven't been like super hype on Punks personally, just because I kind of missed that wave,
Right.
and I went all in on Apes. And then, but then someone was like, yeah, you should check it out. I think I was hosting a space, and someone was asking, what do you think about it? I was like, oh, I actually haven't given it a proper look. And I went and looked, and I was like, this is really cool.
Right.
I liked the burn stake dynamic, and there's a little bit of, I guess, game theory in it, or just like trying to figure out how many are
Exactly.
doing what, and kind of where the tokens are going to end up. And then I like just their vision for like a long-term IP, but that one that's really rooted in, kind of crypto history, and then how that combines with, world-class art and storytelling. So and character building. So
I think storytelling is the center reason that I bought in personally. It's that story allows them to go and build so much content, so many other projects off of it.
yeah,
When you start to like play in your mind, like, oh, they could do animation. Oh, they could actually do like a movie or a show, or the meta heroes like that remind me of like Ethling's kind of functionality. Like it blows my mind.
yeah,
Uh, so I see why you bought in. I obviously did too. It's exciting.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
see where it goes.
yeah, exactly. So Josh, usually at the end of a lot of these interviews, I like to ask like some different questions, and I'm actually moving to a different format now. It's called the fungible five. It's like five standard questions that I ask everybody,
All right.
and we'll hop into those real quick. The first question is, and we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but is there a favorite project? Like, what is the favorite project of yours in the space out of everything? You had to pick one.
If I had to pick one project, um, I mean, I guess it's cheating. I know we've talked about it. I think for me, it's like the combination of Bored Ape plus Sandbox right now is what I'm really excited about. It's part of
Right.
the reason why I signed on, was like you giving us a virtual space to get gather together is going to be really fun with avatars and kind of to make a place that it's our own. So um, I'm just thrilled by like power of community and what it means for creativity and possibility.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Number two, what was the last item you added to your wallet? And actually, I looked just before we started. It was the Gentleman's Club Bored Ape.
Oh, nice.
Can you tell us a little bit about that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to the gentleman who he tweeted like, "Hey, here's a free NFT," and he made like I think 100 of them, and it has his ape and like little scene. And so I saw this morning, it was like, gas was $7, whatever, and I was like, I'd love to get a piece of this, and thanked him for it. So um, I love airdrops. I mean, or like free stuff. My wallet's full of all these like random little things that are just like, oh hey, I'm collecting it.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is like, unlike physical space, like things don't get like crazy cluttered. It's just in there, and you can enjoy it if you want. You can, now there's these like I made an on cipher gallery the other day
Right.
where it has the Bored Ape Yacht Club theme, and you just put your stuff on the wall. So I
Yep.
put a few pieces that I bought that I haven't really like enjoyed. I just put them up on the wall and like stood there in the yacht club mock up and just like, okay, this is the art that I've
Right.
collected, or supported friends or
It
gotten
feels good.
for
Like
free.
just to see everything in more of a gallery sitting than just like in a wallet. Like it makes you kind of appreciate like your collecting and what you're curating for yourself and your own taste. And I encourage everybody to make an on
Yeah, it's fun.
wall or gallery. Yeah,
Yeah, I forgot. Is it on cyber or on cipher? I might have
on cyber.
on cyber. That's what it is. All right. So yeah, check it out. If you have an ape in your wallet, then they give you the template and you can make the yacht club.
Yeah, totally. Number three, who is somebody that you're following or studying that you think everybody should be following or studying themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I did a space this last week with Baron von Husselhouse, which was really fun. He was gone for a week, and he was like, "What happened?" So we did a this week in NFTs with him, because we're like, "You missed a lot and a lot of drama." And one of the fun things is Benjamin came on, and he actually started sharing like with some artists and different folks, like here's what I look for in a project, and uh here's what how I evaluate it. And I thought he dropped some really good wisdom there, and so I'm always keeping an eye on what he's working on and what he's buying into. There were a couple of projects that I was like, oh, I see him he just joined this Discord. It's like, all right, I'm gonna check it out too. So
Yeah.
he's a fun follow. Shout out to like Danny Ukes is great. Like just has a really good pulse on what's going on. The Mario Carters and NFTs Anonymous. There's a lot of great folks out there just sharing what they're learning and sharing what they're excited about.
Yeah, totally. Number 4, what is the biggest lesson you've learned so far in the NFT space / you wish you knew when you started?
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, you know, I'm kind of in a funny place where it's like I stacked some ether like years ago, and then I spent a bunch of it on like Gods Unchained and like CryptoKitties and like
Right.
and then I stacked some more, and then I sat for a while with that long winter, and then I spent all of it again on like Zed Run and um, all sorts of different things. And so I guess if I were trying to learn is like I one of my philosophies for a long time was like, okay, if I spent ETH on a project, an NFT that I like, I would replenish that ETH like later that month. If I was like trying to actually make it so I'm spending fiat instead of my Ethereum, because the
Right.
Ethereum stacks well on its own. I mean, not this month, obviously, because of the vault rollback, but and that's something that I think if I had to go back, I would learn. Obviously, like it's easy to be like, well, buy these things, buy out CryptoPunks and like, buy a bunch of Bitcoin and Ethereum or whatever, Dogecoin or something. But I think I would be interested in like I'm trying to learn like how do I stack but also collect, and how do I invest alongside that? And so
Right.
that to me is like a learning process, and I haven't always gotten it right, and I won't, because no one can see the future. Um, but and then the other thing I'm learning is like the importance of conviction and having that to really drive the things that I back. So I can be, because I have such a diversified strategy and how I collect, it can be like I can have a bunch of little things, and even if something does well, it's like doesn't like change my life necessarily.
Right. You're
So trying to stay like,
spread thin,
yeah,
trying, tasting. Yeah.
exactly. So I'm trying to be a little bit more thoughtful and like, okay, still trying a bunch of different things and sharing those with my audience, but then also thinking about, do I get to a place where sometimes things that I want to collect, I do want to go a little deeper and say I'm going to swing at that. So that was something I tried with Punk's comic, was like, okay, I believe in this, and I'm not just going to get one or two. I guess I had 3 early on, and I was like, well, I want one to burn, one to stake, and then I haven't decided what I'll do with my third. And then I was like, I believe in this thing enough that I'm going to actually commit more than I usually do.
Right.
So hopefully that works out. We'll see. I mean, I believe in the project long term, and it'll be fun to kind of see what they add to the vault. But yeah, those are my lessons. Is like, don't spend all your crypto on NFTs, and try and like replenish it. And but then when you find something that you really have conviction about, if your instincts are solid, which we hope everyone's are, and that comes over time as you learn and study, then take some swings when it's time. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally agree. And then the last question, when did you get involved with NFTs in crypto? And then how did you get involved? Like what made you jump into this space from, being a normie to, being an NFT collector or buying Ethereum?
Yeah. So I had some crypto probably in like 2015. Well, the first time I bought Bitcoin, it was at like $600 a coin,
Yeah.
and I just bought a little bit. It must have been on Coinbase, so it wasn't like crazy early. I'd actually been writing about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrency for like a few years before that, but I was like had finished my journalism career and was like, oh, I want to try this out. So I bought some Bitcoin kind of like in the early days or earliest days. And then I remember having some Ethereum and finding out about CryptoKitties, and like there was that whole craze, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to try this. So I bought some kitties early on and like did some breeding, and it was like the gas wars, like
Right.
things got really out of hand. I probably way overpaid for breeding some kind of like totally generic kitty. But that was probably my introduction to NFTs, and um, I remember being really interested in like, okay, what did digital collectibles look like? Because I understand the real life collectibles. I collected cards growing up, and I got back into sports cards and trading cards and things. Um, so what is that? And I enjoy gaming and things like that. So what does it mean to for all these things to combine? So it was Crypto Kitties, and then I think Top Shop probably brought me back more full force last year and early this year.
Yeah, I think that was
And
a big magnet to bring a lot of people back into this space when that took off.
absolutely, yeah, we call it, we've been joking. It's like the gateway drug to NFTs. Um, so I know a lot of folks who are like, oh, okay, like I had Top Shot, and then my first NFT after that was Bored Apes, and they're like, I had to figure out MetaMask while like the apes were like disappearing. They're like trying to get ETH over to get their ape, and some of them succeeded, some of them didn't. But it's been a fun journey, yeah. And I
That's
love the
awesome.
community and what we're building together.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely a part of it, and we're happy to have you as a part of our community because you're definitely
Thanks,
a genuine good person.
appreciate it. Yeah, just trying to be better together. That's the hope
Exactly, community.
for sure.
Awesome. Well, that concludes our interview, and I hope this was helpful for you to get some of your thoughts out there. I hugely appreciate you coming out. If anybody has questions for Josh, leave them below or reach out to him. He is quite the source of knowledge and just a great guy. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.